Hello guys, a very good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, okay. So we'll start at today's session. Okay. So yesterday we have shown we cover up the basic JavaScripts. Okay, and we went on to see how what is React and how React is being used and what are its advantage and disadvantage, and how we can able to reuse a component. Okay, in React, and how we can able to create a record and how we are going to set up the environment, how we are going to run the environment. Okay. So now in today's class, we are going to look into ES6 features. Okay. So basically, ES6
Bro,
features is a
please share the syllabus, bro.
I think I can't able to share the syllabus. It should be shared from the mentor of the Besant Technologies. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay. So first of all, we will move on to the ES6. Okay. So ES6 features. Okay. Just give me a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible to you guys?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. So there are the first one is ES6 features. Okay. So frequently that are used in React applications. Okay. In modern JavaScript. Okay. ES6 are later provided several useful features that simplify the coding in React. Okay. So first of all is arrow function. Okay. It is a shorter syntax compared to traditional function with implicit return when the function body is simple. So we have seen this. And then there is another ES6 method, that is map, and then temporal literates, destructuring, okay, default parameters, rest and spread operators, object property shorthand, promises, classes, modules. So these are the ES6 features. Okay. So the first feature is, okay, let and cons. So you are already aware of let and cons. Okay, so let and cons, and then arrow function, sorter syntax for writing function, that is lexical bound. Okay, and then template literate, use backtick for string, and dollar parentheses for interpolation. Okay, destructuring, extract value from arrays or object into variables, and default parameter, function parameters with default values. Rest and spread operator. Rest is collect remaining elements. Spread operator expand the element. Okay. If I want to copy uh, array value into another one or another array, I will be using spread operator. And there is another one, object property shorthand syntax for object properties, and promises. Okay. This is one of the main thing that I use in React frequently. I use for handling asynchronous operation. Okay. So promises, classes, simplify syntax for constructor function and inheritance. Then modules, import export, which is used to split code into a separate file. So these are the ES6 features. Okay. So already we have shown what is map, filters, sum, every, reduce, and ternary operator. Okay. And then we want on to look into ternary operator. So these kind of things are comes under ES6 features. Okay. So yeah, these are the ES6 features. So how you are going to write these ES6 features in your React application? Let's start. I'm starting my application. Okay. In my main page, the first one what I'm going to give is constant. First we'll make as an array. Okay. So let me create as fruits is equals to red, green. Okay. So now I'm going to mention this as colors. Okay, and I'm going to give this as each and everything will be inside each and everything will call as an object. Okay, so how I'm going to call this value in my React application, okay, in my HTML. So what I have to do is here I have to mention a variable. Okay, so I'm going to mention as name, so each thing will contain name. And okay, so name. Okay, so now I want this color to be called inside my HTML of React component. So how I'm going to approach this method? Okay, so first of all, I'll be writing a div. Okay, and then just give me a second. Before that, okay, so here what I'm going to do, constant color, mention the array. So here the first one will be, so now colors dot map. Yeah, do you understand how I mapped my value and I've shown in my application, React application? Is that clear? So how we are writing? So I will be giving an array. Okay, so that array will be mapped inside directly. We will be there is a return function. So inside that we'll be writing the container div whatever it is, and then we'll be mapping colors dot map. Okay, so I'm going to give the parameter and then the index value, and then inside that I'm going to return a function, return function. Then I'm going to give div, or you can give any other HTML syntax like p tag or a tag or span tag. So this, and then I'm going to call this key because it is used to identify the element whatever the content is being changed, edit or deleted. Okay, for that purpose we have to mention key. So it is one of type of props. And then what I'm going to do is the value which are stored inside my colors. Okay, so a dot I'm going to access the entire value, a dot name. So it everything will be displayed and it is mapped. Do you guys understand? Just raise your hand if you understand with this. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one, that is filter. So how I'm going to write my filter, and I'm going to call my value. Okay, so constant, already I am having my array. Okay, so I'm going to mention as number is equals to let me keep it as 2 comma 6 comma 5, and I'm going to give constant numbers value is equals to numbers dot filter, and I'm going to give my numbers. Numbers will be uh, either you can give numbers into number, or you can multiply by any value. So I'm going to multiply with my 2, and I'm calling my function. So now I'm going my application, and okay, instead of that, okay, just a second. Hmm, okay. Yeah, I'm doing filter. I'm just retrieving the value. Okay, I'm not multiplying. So for multiplying the value, we can go with the map method. So same thing. Just make it as map, and will be the number value map. And here, what I'm going to do is multiply into 5. So before that, map number. So again, pan. Okay, so what is happening here? 5, 10, 25, 30. Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll approach like this method. Uh, so first I'm going to filter my odd variables. Okay. So the number which are divided by 2, 12. So that will be retrieved divided by 2. Okay. So then I'm going to multiply with 10. So the first thing is, so numbers that are divided by 2. Okay. So I'll be get the value 2 and 6, 8, 4, 10, 16. And then, yeah, I'll get this value. From that value, whatever the value has been called up. So I'm going to map that and I'm going to multiply. Okay. So second. Filter. Okay. Numbers multiplied by, sorry, divided by 2 is equal to 0. So I should get this thing. First, let me check what is happening in 2, 6, 8, 4, 1, 0. Okay. I'm getting the even values here. 2, 6, 8, 4, 10, 16 are my even values. Now I'm going to multiply each and every one and then I'm going to get in an value. Okay. So span. Okay, I got it. Mention the span. Okay, so here the first one 2 is multiplied by what value? 10. Okay, so I'm multiplying the 2 into 10, 20, 6 into 10, 60, 8 into 10, 80, so and then 4 into 10, 40, and then 10 into 10, 100, and 16 into 10, 160. So this is how we can able to map a value inside a React component. So okay, so we can able to fetch the value, fetch the data using writing normal JS function, JavaScript function. Okay, so inside the parenthesis, open parenthesis, where your function has been declared, and there you can able to make use of the scripting language, and then you can able to fetch it in your HTML part. Okay, so this is how the DOM manipulation works, virtual DOM. Okay, whenever there is a change is updated in the virtual React, first check with the actual DOM, then compare with the real DOM, then it is used to change it efficiently. Okay, so this is how the process of converting an HTML into an XML using DOM structure. Is that everyone clear? How we have been working, how the JavaScript has been used in React. Okay. If you are clear with this, just raise your hand, guys.
So please told one more time.
Pardon?
Please one more time, bro.
Okay. Just give me a second. So basically, okay, a React is a framework. Okay. So how we are going to write JavaScript inside a React application. So normally, first, while creating, yesterday I taught you how to create a JSX file. Okay, and then how we are going to import that file. Okay, how we are going to create a template of that file. So for that, what you are going to do is RAFC. Okay, with the arrow function. Okay, you are going to get this structure file initially. Okay, so let me comment this. First initially you will be getting like this. Okay, so then what you have to do is here inside this one, inside return to the top of the main page, the where it is constant main page, to the inside the return. Okay, you are going to write your entire JS function. Okay, so JavaScript variable function. So there how you are going to fetch your values inside our HTML. Okay, so basically I told you React is a framework how we are going to manipulate that into a DOM structure. So that is where the virtual DOM comes. Okay, whenever if we are going to change any XML or HTML structure, what will happen? The React the XML will convert the actual DOM into a real DOM. So, and it will display the virtual. Okay, so it is known as virtual DOM. So, yeah, whenever you are updating, and you will get the output. So, this is how you are going to uh, and this is how the entire React application work under the DOM manipulation. Is that everyone clear now? Is that clear now, Hari Sundaran?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, okay, great. So that's it. So this is how we are going to look each and everything. Like if I want positive also, you can able to display the true value. Okay, so whatever the logic you are going to give. So I have already taught you the basics of JavaScript, right? So there is also advanced array structures. Okay, so filters, some, every, reduce, so these kind of. So now I'm going to go with the another one. Okay, the ES6 feature. There is one more thing called, already I have just mentioned the arrow function. Okay, so again I will just mention it. So here arrow function, how I'm going to do is constant, I'm going to give arrow is equals to, and I'm going to call a parameter value a comma b. Okay, and then I'm going to pass this arrow. Okay, so this is how you are going to call a function. Like if you want to call a button, okay, you will need constant handle button. And if you want to submit that, you will be writing constant handle submit. So these are the things that will be happen inside the arrow. Okay, so arrow function. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, either I'm going to give return or I'm going to give just a plus b. So what will happen is I'm going to give return a, okay, plus b. Okay, instead of a plus b, I'm going to divide a divided by b. So now what will happen, I want to call this arrow function, okay, inside my it's my inside my React of application, HTML UI rendering. So how I'm going to do, either you can directly call this arrow inside here, or you can able to declare another variable and then you can able to call that function. So how you are going to do is, so wait, I'm just going declare is equals to, here I'm going to give arrow. Okay, I'm going to give the function. So this is a function. Okay, what I'm doing, I set this function to this one. Okay, a variable declare. So here I'm going to call it easily in a p value. Okay, before that you have to declare. Yeah, a comma p. So we are not going to give any uh function. Okay, so this is not applicable. Yeah, so there is an error. Okay, so what is that? So here I have to mention my values. Okay, so what I'm going to do is a divided b. So obviously 4 comma 2. Okay, so see here. So this is how we are going to manipulate the DOM. Okay, so this is how we are going to manipulate the DOM. So there is another thing. Okay, so there is another method called template literals. So if you want to call a value and you have to show in because a value that will be inside an data. I mean, for an example, you want an address. Okay, address to be called in an address field. So there is an, yeah, for us, suppose you just take an example like LinkedIn, in the section you will be having a address section. There you will be writing address 1, address 2, state, city, pin code, this kind of thing. So you want this everything to be in the state line. Okay, so what you are going to use is, you are going to use it back template literal. For that thing, how you have to write in your application is, okay, just me go with constant. Okay, let me go with mm, if there are multiple values. Okay, there are multiple array value, so you can go with, so address, I'm going with my address array. Okay, here what I'm going to, I'm opening array, and here I'm going to give it as the first one will be uh okay, address 1, this one, 2, second street. Okay, and then, so before that, each an array, so there is an object. Okay, So we have to give that object inside that. So just give me a second. Okay. First, the JSON object will become. There I'll be opening my thing. For entire the value. Just give me a second. Okay. So then so now what we are going to do is already I'm having there if there are multiple values, okay, multiple address, so it will be mapped, okay. So if not, I don't need if it knows there is another option, there's only a single values, okay, single object variable. So that is also you can able to do it, okay. So how you are going to do is, okay, so I will just explain you the two method, one is object and one other one is map, okay. So how we are going to do that, just give me a second. So okay. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, I will connect. Yeah. So, so where I was, yeah, okay. So I'll going to explain the two scenarios, okay. So how we can able to use the template letters. One is in terms of arrays and another in terms of objects, okay. So first one, let me go with array, okay. So what I have to do is, so this, okay. So here I'm going to write my label, okay. Here I'll be having address. So now I want this entire thing to be called inside this thing. So how I'm going to do that? So before that moving, let me add that address, okay? Address q array dot map, okay? And goes with data. And I'm not going to write any return function for now. Then inside this, I am going to do div because it is crucial to give the key value, so that we can able to change while you are creating a CRUD service. So if any data has been changed or not, so for that identify person we have to mention key. And so then just a second. Okay, here what I'm going to do is, and my inside I'm my mapping this, I'm going to give my label here. So here I'm going to mention the value as add, okay, comma index. So already I have given this. So here I'm going to give, first you have to open your backticks, okay. Before that, open the curly braces, okay. Inside that curly brace, you open the backtick and then the dollar symbol, and then open another flower braces. So now what you are going to do is add, okay, dot address 1. So automatically it will come because I'm mapping the value. So okay, whatever the value that are inside, so it will directly shows. So then goes with another one, open the dollar symbol, uh so that will be add dot address to, it came automatic. So here you have to give the comma, okay. So in terms of array, so then, and then again another thing, okay, add dot city, okay, city, and then add dot state, okay, then add dot country, country, and then add dot pin code, okay. So now we'll check into a application. So what is, see here, so I'm getting all the values, okay. So address second street Hellington Road, the first one, the array of the first value, okay. So I'm getting this, and then the array, so if I want to retrieve the value just first one, so what I'm going to do is, here we have to mention array, okay. So you have to mention 0. So what will happen if you mention 0, so only the first element will be displayed. Just give me a second. And so here you have to mention it, okay. Okay, address view of array, okay. Okay, so in here we have to give, instead of that giving here, okay, so we can mention here itself constant first value is equal to add of 0. So this should comes under return function. So what I'm gonna do is just copy this, paste it here. Well, see what is the issues. Okay. Okay. So yeah, just give me a second. So if I want the only first value, so I'm going to retrieve that into the before that. So what I have to do is constant first value address queue of array of 0 before checking that whether I'm getting the first value or not. Console.log of. Okay, I'm getting my first value. So what I have to do is I don't need the map method. So directly I can able to give. So here it is. Okay. So this is how you are, if you want to retrieve the first value from the array, so you have to separately mention that I need and from the index of 0. Okay. So if I want to display that, the array of 0. So then you declare first declare a variable, then declare this array entire address q array. The first value of index is 0 and then mapped it. Okay. So this is for map 1. So another one for object, how you are going to do is, okay, just simple thing. Okay, here I am giving an array, right? So instead of array, okay, so just give me a second, go with same thing, and instead of I'm going to write object. Okay, so here I'm going to mention it as, okay, uh okay. So I'm going to mention as object. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, okay, so now this should be entirely I'm going to fetch into single object value. Okay, so let me do one thing instead of that. So again, I'll be write the constant first value is equals to this. So let me comment this, and now I'll get the only one single value. Okay, so is that clear how I'm using my template literal in React application? If you understand this, just raise your hand. So we'll move on to the next one. Hello. Okay, I just got only one. Just only one of them has been raised the hand. So I need confirmation from all of them. Then only I can able to proceed for the next one. Is that clear, guys?
To run this React application, like you need to give .jsx in like file name. You have to save it like that.
Yeah. If you want to run an application, okay. So it all if yesterday you are known, right? So how we are creating a application, okay. So that is clear for you, Monica. Have you understand
That
that?
is,
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
then
we
what?
like
Yeah.
we,
Okay, so then what you have to do is go to your source folder, okay, create a component. Inside that component, create a file, okay. So that should be in terms of JSX because JSX JavaScript extension, okay, the React, okay. So for that you have to use .jsx, okay. This is one. So Now do you understand, right, how you are going to create a page using .jsx? Is that clear now,
Yeah,
Monica?
in component, what is there?
The in component, any name, okay, the name what you are going to prefer, okay. It is not constrained that you have to use only main page or JS, so this kind of thing. It is your choice. For an example, in this application, I'm going to develop an header, footer. So what I will doing inside a component, I will be create a folder called header folder. Then I will create a file called header.jsx. So where I will be writing the entire code. So okay, this is the structure, basic structure how the code should be kept in a single component.
Okay.
Okay, do you understand now? It's been clear.
Uh,
Yeah, okay, great. So we have seen template literals and we also seen array let and const. So now I'm going to explain you what is a spread operator. Okay, so this is one of the most pivotal part. So for now I need to merge two array. Okay, so for an example, in real time application from backend you will be getting the two values. I mean backend you are having two separate services. The two separate services to be mapped into a single array. So how you are going to do the single array using the spread operators? Okay, so how we are going to approach this method is, so first one, let me copy this, okay, for the reference purpose, and then
do it in a
constant.
separate file, like merging, like you're continuing in the same page, everything. It will be
Okay,
messed up.
okay, right, I understand. Just give me a second. Okay, so let me do one thing. I'm going with my okay, I'm just mentioning what is that spread.jsx. Okay, so here refc, okay, fc. So here I'm going to give us spread. Here I'm going to give my application. So first one I'm going to give two array. Okay. So this will let me instrument that is array 1 and this is array 2. So how I'm going to merge the two array into a single array. Okay. So this is here. So now I want to merge this two array and I have to map that and I have to show that. So how I'm going to do is constant merge array is equals to, here you have to use spread operator, the first one of address queue array, comma, array 2. So it will merge. Okay. So then same thing. So map the value. Okay. Okay. So here you have to give the merge array. Okay. So here I'm going to remove this and I'm going to give first value. And here I'm going to mention my key variable I. So now I have merged the merge two array and I'm getting my output. So now I want to call this web page application. So here I am not getting anything. So what we have to do is go to your main.jsx. Okay. Here you have to declare another one. So that will be a component called spread. Okay. So yeah. Now do you understand that? Just a second. Just a minute. So there is an issue. Address 1 and address 2. Okay. So merge array first value and will be, let me first, because why I'm not getting this, so you have to go with console.log of array. Okay, there is some two array, so one is array 1 and another one is array of 0. Okay, I have to check what is happening here. Okay, I am not mentioning any spread operator. So that's the thing. So it takes that array. Okay. So now, okay. Okay. So I'm getting the two array. Now I'm getting my value. Is that clear how I'm merging the two array in using the spread operator. So this is one of the part of ES6 literature. Is that clear everyone? Same thing you also does for the object also. So object method. Okay. So same thing for object and same thing for array. So you have to use the spread operator. Okay. So is that clear everyone? Just raise your hand guys if you're clear with it. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, great. Yeah. So yeah. So we have done with CS6, okay, and there is another thing, okay, I just forgot to tell. So that is an ternary operator, okay. Let me go with now ternary operator. Give me a second. Okay, how I'm going to write? I'm going to call that into a Boolean one. So for an example, constant, okay, constant is logged in is equals to true. So how I'm going to call this? Yeah, I got an answer. So user span. So here you have to mention is login is equal to value is true. Then use your ternary operator as value s and then otherwise as no. Okay. So now what I will get? I will get a value yes. Okay. See here. Yes. Now do you understand the ternary operator how it is work? Is that clear? This is basic. It is mainly used in ternary operator like loading a button. Okay, when you are submitting a form. Okay, then you have to show a button. I mean loading or loader. So for that purpose, you will be using this ternary operator most of the time. And there is a condition whether I want to fetch this data or not. So these are the conditions. There are many lot of scenarios. Okay, we'll be working on it. So yeah, so this is how the ES6 works in terms of React application. Already we have shown in normal while we touch up a basic JavaScript. So there I also taught you the advanced array method, then ternary operation, this kind of thing. Here how we are going to implement that inside our React application. So this is the difference between the normal JavaScript versus the JavaScript framework. Is that is that understand everyone? Okay, great. So yeah, so now, so what I'm going to do is JSX and component. Okay, so I'm going to uh, I'm going to explain you what is JSX and the component. Okay, so JSX syntax: creating and rendering component, functional versus class component. Why we are using functional components is most of the time why we are not using class component. So that's the advantage and disadvantage between them. And then I'm going to show you the props. Okay, so what is props? How you can able to pass one data from a component to the another component. So okay, so how you are going to pass the props data, and then what is the states and lifecycle method of the class component. Okay, so these are the things now we are going to look. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, so we'll move on to the JSX and component. Okay, so the first one. So JSX, okay, so the main abbreviation of JSX, JavaScript XML, okay, allow you to write HTML like code in JavaScript, but it makes your UI more readable and expensive. Okay, so this is the JSX. Okay, so this is the JSX function. Is that clear, everyone? So this is how the JSX function will be used, and these are the components. So there is each and everything will be added inside your application, okay, inside your JSX file, and you are going to import that in the main page, okay. So this is how you are going to create this is called as component. So each and everything is been retained inside a component. So this is the JSX and component, okay. So now how you are going to create and rendering the same thing. We'll be creating like RAFCE for arrow function with the help of arrow one. Another one is there is only RAFC, okay. So that is only function function mean, okay. So no arrow function. So this is how you are going to create and render your function. So how you are going to render? So by going to where you want to show this component, okay. For an example, like I need my form to be my form value should be shown in a pop-up, okay. If I click a add button, so there will be a pop-up, okay. So in that pop-up I need my form. So that where you have to do, wherever you are going to add that dialog box, okay, the component dialog box, there you have to render this component. So the form component. So this is how you are going to create and render the component, okay. So then what is a functional and class component? So functional component similar, yeah, I'll just get to that. So most of the time, okay, I'll be using functional components. So because it is really simple and use with hooks, okay, and a class component really older way, okay, uses life cycle method. So it is one of the most oldest part in React application, okay. So we are not going to use class component. So most of the companies right now have been stopped with using class component, because functional component is been more similar and it is used with hook, okay. So it is a easy way of handling that. So these are the difference between functional and a class component. So the difference between the functional and class component, okay, so the syntax, I'll just tell you the syntax how it differs, okay. So just give me a minute. Okay. Okay, let me do one thing, okay. Functional,
In main.jsx page, uh, come to that main.jsx page.
okay.
Here, strict mode and create mode. So what is that?
The strict mode and create mode is a default, okay. So default root app, okay. So if you are having any error while you are deploying your application to the entire code, so it is easily used to show you the error, okay. So debugging the error. So that is the concept of creating this is the concept of strict mode, okay, and the root document.get by id also, okay. Now do we understand? So entirely we are rendering inside a root component. So there I am going to show my the uh, entire pages, components, models, forms. So these are the things will come inside this.
Like if you want to run, if you want to write any React code means, so these syntax will automatically come. This import,
Yeah, this
create root.
say, yeah, this is automatically imported, Monica. Okay, so you don't need to write that is the main file, what I have said yesterday. So that is a root file, okay. So you don't need to write any this other thing again and again, okay. So only what you have to do is you have to just import the file. That's it. So inside this component, simple.
Okay.
Do you understand? So I will come to the I'll come another thing also. So I'll come to the later part while we are going in a topic of routing. Okay, routing. Okay, at that time I'll tell you. So how routing also done. Okay, and then how the routing is been called inside this strict mode. Okay, so basically that we can able to call up the function. Okay, okay. So okay, so where we were, so there is was functional component and the class component. The difference between is functional component similar and used with hook. Class component is older way that uses the life cycle method. Okay, so we are not in this entire session. We are not going to work with the class component. We are going with the functional component because it is really similar and it is a modern method. So now I am just going to explain you the example. I'm not going to write any code. Okay, so function. uh okay, function, the first one is I'm going to give hello, okay, a return, okay. So this is functional component. So how the class component looks? So here what I have done, your main page and spread.js are also a functional component. Okay, this is not a class component. This is functional component. So the class component is class hello extends. So here you have to mention react dot component. Okay, so react dot component. So then I'm going to use the render. Okay, so there will be using return. Okay, we are not using any render method because we are using return. Then go with here you are going to return the value. Okay, okay, so now you guys just tell me, so which is simple, this or this one? Which is simple, guys? Just give me the option, anyone, just tell me which is simple. Hello.
Function simple.
Yeah, function is a simple. So that's the difference between. So instead of writing entire class, when we render return, so directly you'll be calling the function. Okay, so that's the difference between functional component and class component. So this is the syntax. Okay, so yeah, I'm so okay. So we'll do one thing. Okay, so I'll go with the props. Okay, so this is one of the most important method in React application. So what it does? Okay. So should I need to continue in a new page or should I go with the previous one itself? Okay, let me continue with the new page itself. That will be a reference purpose. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, okay, so how I'm going to call my props. Okay, basically what is prop? Okay, it is used to pass the data from one component to the other components. Okay, for an example, now I want to pass this value. Okay, this is logged in true value into my functional and class JSF file component. Okay, so how I am going to pass that? So before that passing, what I am going to do is, okay, there are two scenario. One, you can pass the props directly, and another one you can mention a keyword called props. So from that prop, so whatever you are going to fetch, that you can able to fetch. Okay, so these are the two scenario. I will explain the two scenarios for you also. So which is better, you can able to select that one. Okay, so the first one I'm going with the props. Okay, I'm giving the property type props. Now what I'm going to do here is, uh here I'm going to give my h1. Okay, so I'm going to call that props. Okay, is just a second. I'm writing a question. Okay, so his React is a JavaScript framework work. So here what I'm going to do is, I'm going to open my function base, and here curly brace going to give the props. That props I'm just calling whatever here declared. So props dot. So what I'm going to give is just be online. So I'm going to give as let me go with not true value. Okay, so now here I want to pass this, okay, into this function, this component. So what I'm going to do is copy this. So here you have to mention, I'm going to import that component. Okay, so the component name is function and class. So here what I am going to give is value is equals to that is login. So there. So now what will happen here is I am going to access the props value. Okay, so props dot is login. Okay, so I have just imported this. So let me check what is the output one. So before that, okay, for clear UI purpose, let me comment this main page also. Okay, let me keep this. See, now do you understand? Is React is a JavaScript framework? That is a true one. Okay, just give me a second. There is some error. Uh, mm, just think. Okay, so what we have to do is, okay, so we have to pass it as a string, okay, because it is in Boolean one, so we have to pass it as a string. So what you have to do is dot to string, okay. So what will happen? It will convert into the string, okay. So now do you understand, guys? So how I'm calling my props from one component to another one, okay. So by using prop one, by using props here, okay. So by using the attribute, is that clear, everyone? Just raise your hand. Others? Great, done. Okay. So the next one is, okay, the normal one, what we have to do is just pass the value. Okay. So you don't need any props. So I'm just going to pass my value here. See here. So that will also, it will display me. Just a second. I think there is a mistake. Let me check. Value is logging. Okay. So what happened here? Why it is not coming? We'll go and check here. Console.log. Uncode objects are not valid as React child. Okay, object with React value. If you mean to render array, use an array instead. I think not this one. Not applicable for this. Function, okay. Consider adding an error boundary to a tree to resemble behavior. So just give me a second. Let me think of that. Mm. So I'm calling value. The value will be string. I'm passing in my function. So here I'm going to call my props value. Okay. So that props value I'm going to pass. So before that, so what I have to do is, let me check console.log of value is coming or not. Okay, first you have to check this and then you have to write. First check the value whether it is coming or not. Okay, I am getting the value, so value is true. So now value is true means value value is equal to true. Okay. Okay, so now I'm getting. So guys, is that clear everyone? So how I'm passing, there are two types of props value. One is you are giving normal value and then I'm getting the entire converting that value. Okay, so here otherwise if you want to give props, so there you are going to access the value. Okay, props that is that everyone clear? Just raise your hand guys if you are clear with the props one. Okay, good. Others? Okay.
The balance are covered tomorrow.
Oh yes, I'm done with today's class, man. Okay, so I have done with it. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to take up this fresher because it needs some fresh up one. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to manage only in one part. Okay, one topic. So yeah, I'm done with today's class. Do you guys have any other doubts?
Bro, please share your programmings also, bro.
Sure, I'll share today. Okay, I'll share today.
Ah,
So you
yes.
just tell me. Yeah, I'll share today. Don't worry. So just tell me, guys, if you are understand this. So we'll move on to we'll move on to the tomorrow session. So I'm done with today's class. Do you guys have any doubt? Feel
Bro,
free to
balance
ask.
state and life cycle, bro.
Pardon?
State and life cycle.
I'll be taking the state and life cycle tomorrow. Okay, you don't need to worry.
Okay.
So because state and life cycle method in class component, so we are not using any class component. Okay, so we are going to use functional component. Okay, even though I'm going to just explain how this state and life cycle works. Right? Don't
Okay.
worry.
Done, bro.
We are done. So, in others, do you have any doubts? Just feel free to ask me, okay, so that I can able to clear your doubts. So, because this is really crucial, the framework of React application is really crucial, okay. If you are not understanding, okay, just at the time just stop it and ask me, okay. Don't keep silent. If you guys have any other doubts after the class completed, just message me so that I can able to guide you on that. Is that clear, everyone?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. We'll wind up the class. Thank you, guys.
Bright, bro.
Okay, bye.